Okay, no, thanks so much. So yeah, gosh, morning everyone. Thank you very much for your time. I'm the founder of Rapid Information Systems. Yeah, as expressed, we're a low-code digital transformation platform. Our history is from the London Borough of Camden. So basically, we have come out of the local authority space, which makes us, we hope, fresh, different, and invigorating in exciting new ways. So what and forgive me, I'm not familiar with this format either, and I really like the idea that we've got slightly more time together. So I really do want to kind of get through my bit reasonably quickly, and I want to hear from you. There's questions I really want to know about other local authorities and what they think and how they operate and where they've been and stuff. Yeah, so what I want to sort of take you on today is this little journey here of just a little kind of gloss over of digital transformation. And I'm sure it's boring and we're all there, but it's just to kind of establish a kind of baseline, I suppose. And then likewise with the low code, I'm sure we've all heard of it. I just wanted to kind of give quickly, Rapid's kind of take on it, and then launch into some case studies for Lambeth and Stevenage. And yeah, and then get those discussions going. And I guess you can obviously interrupt at any time. Yeah, we'll just see how it goes. So digital transformation fast, that's what we do. Yeah, so Rapid reduces the time, cost, and complexity of your digital transformation, but helping you improve your services, save money, innovate, and get structured and joined up data for better efficiency, performance, accuracy, audit, and insights. Okay, wow. So like that's the theory, but then, the cynic in me says, how do you move from the abstract to the practical? And practically how we deliver on speeding up, basically speeding up developer productivity and providing agile tools that allow you to sort of develop in conjunction with your business. But what you're doing with those tools is that you are creating web applications, by which we mean browser-based back office management systems, offline mobile applications, smart forms, portals, integration, automation. So it's basically one toolkit that delivers on all of these sorts of things. And obviously, software is incredibly helpful stuff, makes services more efficient. And the idea is that they are easy to use tools that can basically lift your digital game and yeah, help local authorities do more with less and deliver better services. So on digital transformation, it took me a little while. Actually, this would be fun. Could people kind of indicate by show of virtual hands? I'm always curious, like who is here from like a front office kind of service? Raise any hands, please. Do you work on the sort of service side? Nobody. Okay. And then just to make sure that I'm not entirely here on my own, people who work in the sort of central teams like IT and digital, please raise a hand. Oh, there's one. Thanks, Emma. Okay. I wonder what everybody else does, Emma. But we'll find out in due course. Okay. So thanks. So maybe you read our introduction, and it's interesting that Rapid is often brought in by like what I would call frustrated heads of service that have digital transformation problems that they know they want to solve. So how we see digital transformation, it took me a long time to understand the difference between IT and digital. And my take on that is that IT seems to be traditionally and fundamentally the infrastructure, the service, the networks, the security, the sort of getting it all going. And digital is about the people, I think, fundamentally, the sort of exciting space where we're looking at business processes and making sure people operate more efficiently, that they have the right tools, exchange of data, all of those elements about sort of efficient business efficiency processes and efficiency. Then obviously there's the customer experience. There's only one chance to make a first impression. And when we engage with our customers through our website, through mobile apps, through forms, through whatever, like, are they of the sufficient quality and joined up enoughness to basically build that sense of confidence that we can effectively serve their need? And then there's also ideas and technology around digital transformation, encouraging staff to come forward with bright ideas to improve services with things that we know are out there. And likewise, that's kind of like linked to an innovation culture. So like, why does digital transformation matter? because it's all about, again, lifting our digital game and providing better services to, you know, our residents and you know, customers, as we call them. So just a small boring thing on digital transformation. If you recognize any of these in your services, if you have paper, if you have spreadsheets, if you have manual processes, if you're desk bound, if you have to data enter things twice and you have to go out, do something, write it on paper, come back and do it, that's where I'm going with desk bound. And strange enough, I include access databases because we've done many large rounds of projects now where sort of reasonably old access databases, Rapid has been used to web enable and mobile enable and move to better databases, very old access systems. Software gaps. So there's lots of good examples here where you have enterprise IT systems that do very, very important things. But when you transact with a customer, you need lots of small slices from those big systems just together for the life of that transaction. So we would call that a kind of like software gap. If you can pull out small pieces and just fill that gap, so you don't have to search 5 different searches to kind of like help someone deal with their boiler, which is a common case. And then just simply outdated tech. So if you recognize any of those kind of challenges, of course, what you're missing out on is structured data. So we make this big emphasis about structured data. And what I mean is that something on paper, you know, is not structured data. And you can see where I'm going with this here, that if data is not structured, how do you know that it's accurate? How do you know that you're performing? How do you know that you're efficient? How do you provide an audit to sort of demonstrate that you're actually, or that everyone's doing what they should be doing and these efficient decisions are being made? You want to join up your systems. And if you don't have structured data, then of course you can't get the deep level exciting stuff like insights and AI. So this, you know, as you can imagine, this is this common journey about why digital transformation matters and what you obviously want to move from the left to the right. So if you do recognize anything on the left, then of course you benefit from web-based applications, mobile applications, smartphones, portals, dashboards, integration, automation. Now, if only there was one easy-to-use tool that delivered all of these things that could really help lift your digital game and transform your business. Well, guess what? So, right, Rapid itself is a low-code platform. It's slightly different from other low-code platforms in that, but we'll tell you more about that as well. So we have been providing social housing solutions since 2005. We've done a number of innovative firsts, like the UK's first fully integrated online housing application form. And something that's kind of like fundamental to the philosophy of Rapid is this whole idea of open systems, that instead of like dictating down like an enterprise system, yeah, it's all in here, you can't get at it. Rapid is designed to sort of live in an ecosystem where it sort of joins things together and flows things between, that it doesn't build barriers or construct walls. It helps you join your systems together and flow your data around, whether that's from a mobile app to a management system, or whether that's from a search and a repairs call center across 5 different repairs related enterprise systems. We're very, you know, the whole philosophy is about opening system and giving you access to your data across all of your different systems. Right, so yeah, I won't dwell on this. Hopefully there'll be more discussion about these. Rapid is very easy to use, and it's you know, developers are immediately productive. The reason for that is we start with the user interface end rather than the data model end. And again, it's entirely web-based. There's absolutely nothing to install. Part of the openness involves just referring to things as what they are, HTML and style sheets, and it's very easy to get help about what to do on Rapid just by searching general web development forums or resources or anything. So, but again, it's a very easy tool for rapid development. It's incredibly flexible. It's a very sort of modular, sees the outside wall through plugins, which you can build. You can build your own parts. This will make more sense in very shortly. So it matters, having come out of the local authority community, it matters a lot that we are in this together, that we are providing support and relationships. And like fundamentally our mission is to just provide value for money and return on investment for your other IT systems, and just make the most of, you know, limited budgets and taxpayer money. And there is a thing that it'll be curious to explore this, because I get the impression that like some of the cost and value the difference between some of our competitors and some of our competitors and us is like 2 or 3 teachers or social workers or things that really matter. And you know, so that's at the heart of what we try and do. So, you know, we have customers. The people who know London will recognize that these are all North London and South Hertfordshire, and that's no surprise because we're based in Welwyn Garden City, which is just north of London. So low code, building blocks. How we see it is this idea about Lego, that if you look at that model ship on the left, you can imagine it was incredibly expensive and took a very, very long time to make. And if you want to change any part of it, you can practically forget about it. So on the right-hand side, we've got Lego, which is pretty much how we see, you know, Rapid, we often refer to as a software Lego blocks. But hopefully it makes the point that very quickly, and I can tell you firsthand, the one on the right takes less than an hour to make. You can have the same thing, but you can change it. You're not in this, you're not constrained to a walled garden. You can sort of build your own bits and pieces, you can reassemble, you can make. So if you think about what low code doing that for software, it just gives you that massive ability to respond to very quickly to emerging customer need, provide solutions, adapt, change, all the things you totally should be able to do. So building blocks very much give you the faster, better, cheaper approach. We discussed flexibility. The thing about security is, so the Rapid software building blocks are all designed to talk together particular ways. So the idea is that you are introducing significantly fewer new lines of code, and that's where your security bugs often come in. So because it's all pen tested to work together in these structured ways, and again, you're not introducing your new stuff, you can have much more sort of confidence in the security of the model. So not only is developing software faster, better, and cheaper, you're obviously building solutions for your services to be the same way. Right, so this is the big picture, that web applications we discussed are management systems, offline mobile applications. Oh, so by the way, everything in Rapid runs entirely in the browser. So there are offline clients for iOS and Android, but mobile apps also run offline as progressive web applications in mobile browsers. So there's absolutely nothing to install. You build it once and it runs on any device, no matter what it is. And it has sort of helpers, you know, hopefully there'll be maybe not in this meeting, but if you can bear it and you can invite me back, I'll show you how the builder works. And you basically nominate whether what you're making is a web-based management system, an offline mobile application or a form, and it gives you a bit of an helper. So those of you will have guessed that everything is hybrid web applications. Yeah, there's a big piece on integration and automation as well. So at the heart of it is our values, that it should be an open system that's easy to use, flexible, agile. We're big on sharing and collaboration of solutions with other local authorities as well. So round about now, people tend to want to know, what does it look like? So yeah, that's it. So that's the design tool running in a browser. The building blocks are on the left-hand side. There are controls. You arrange them in the middle and you specify their properties on the right-hand side. And then it's actions that kind of do the work. And there are actions for all sorts of things, calling web services, going into a database, changing other controls, navigation. But you are able to actually build your own controls, your own actions, unlimited integration. And anything that you've seen out on the web as a web component, you can actually bring into Rapid as a reusable piece. So we have lots of things for local authorities, like signatures and maps and address searches. And so these are all reusable components. And then of course you can share components with other local authorities as well. Whew. So that's basically my whiz through of Rapid and digital transformation. But yeah, so when you've got this powerful toolkit, when you can make all of these things quickly to help a local authority, what do you do with it? So I really wanted Lambeth and Stevenage to join us today, but given the sort of the time frame, they were otherwise engaged. So I'm sorry about that. It's just me. But I'll talk you through the fire challenge at Lambeth. Was that they were in a bit of dire straits. They knew that they hadn't been prioritizing fire safety. They weren't 100% compliant. Lots of actions, something like 20,000 risks had been identified but not remedied because they just weren't on top. They were trying to use spreadsheets basically to run the whole borough-wide fire safety program. And yeah, so, and this is a good point on how spreadsheets don't give you structured data. So they just didn't have the full picture on where they were. So the nice thing is that they knew they needed to change. They knew they needed an integrated IT system. So the first step was a mobile application for inspectors to go out and do the inspection on any device. And there was this thing about that buildings obviously aren't all made the same way. So the order in which you are performing the inspection will vary according to how the building is structured. So all of the different sections, they needed to be able to access and go in and out of it in like a non-linear way. So hopefully if you stare really closely at that image, you'll see that there's some green bubbles above some yellow bubbles. And basically those are the sections that are being completed. And, you know, you can complete them in any order, but sort of obviously you can only send it when they're all done. You can save it locally to the device as well to finish later. But fundamentally, you can imagine that once the inspection is performed, there is a PDF with all of the photos and all of the data, all of the information that heads off to the document management system. So what also happens is any remedial actions that have been identified are typically either for repairs or what they call management actions. So repairs go immediately to the contractors to be rectified, and the management actions go into the housing management system task management system. Now, the funny thing about all of this integration is two-way. So it can be closed off on either side, and it can be cancelled on either side, and then the two systems kind of like synchronize. So there's also a mobile application for housing management, and this is the one that picks up task management from the housing management system. So, and this is where all the pictures and things, they take a photograph. So often a management task is something like ask the residents to remove their bicycle from the railing. So there'll be a photograph of the bicycle that comes through on the app when the manager goes to talk to the resident, and then they will take a photograph of the railing without the bicycle to demonstrate that that's been performed. So all of that then goes to live in the management system. So this is the one with the dashboards, the full searching, the full audit, the ability to sort of because we still love a spreadsheet. So, you know, you're able to take all of, or filter lists of actions, take them off, give them to kind of like the capital team, who will then sort of work out the ones that they've rectified en masse and then bulk import them back in again. But basically all the KPIs and the full audit is in that system, as well as those charts that give the real-time risk position of the borough's fire risk. But that's not all. So there's also then third parties that the system touches that will be usually TMOs, things like that, that won't be on the system, but they will still be responsible for performing remedial tasks. So they get emails and reminders with hyperlinks back to a portal where they can evidence how they've performed the task. They get documents as well. And then finally, there was a request by the inspectors that their management function could quality assure the documents before they were actually turned into PDFs loaded into the EDMS and then made available on the council website. So they get to quality assure the final document before it gets produced. But before that, the actions have already flown and already being circulated, because there's a big issue with sort of like high priority issues if inspectors are sitting on it for too long before the council get to know about it. So that is a very exciting thing that you can do with a flexible low-code platform that touches on various different things. Cool. So you can imagine there was a rapid reduction in outstanding actions, 100% compliance, smaller team and much lower cost. Yeah, they were in a mess before. And this whole idea of this real-time visualization of the fire risk position, there's significant confidence in the system. So Stevenage, I thought, were an example of a slightly smaller district level borough. They said some nice things about us, which was greatly appreciated. They must have had a program of digital transformation. I don't sort of understand the full details of that, but we're glad that they did. And we're local, we're reasonably local to them. We're just up the road. So these are some nice things that they said after working with us. But what I'm going to do next is kind of like blast out like a few different things that they made or that was made on Rapid with them. And we've been working with them for just under 2 years, you know, to be honest. Oh, by the way, the fire safety system took about 3 months to put together. So the first thing we did with Rapid for Stevenage was a payment portal with a basket and secure online payments. And then there's about 200 online smart forms, anything and everything, lots of COVID related things in here. And again, various integration techniques. They don't have a real-time online housing application form from us, but that's the sort of thing that we can do as well. Find my nearest bin with fuzzy spelling. That was a need that they had. Local council budgets. This was just a mini system that they kind of needed for local councillors to be able to kind of authorize. I think they get up to sort of, I think it's 500 quid per project, which they can give to local groups, but they needed a fully transparent system where there were notifications, reminders, a public register, lots of different approval. That was whipped up in Rapid. The caretaking mobile app and management system, this is quite a big one. The caretakers do a daily round with a whole bunch of different tasks. They can also then allocate to third parties to do, fly tipping, drug paraphernalia, and ASB. They do a daily vehicle check. There's a big management system. Individual caretakers get scheduled on different rounds. Obviously, that gets picked up on the mobile device in the day. The interesting thing is that like they account for all of their time, and that comes up later in the billing system, which you'll learn about in a bit. But fundamentally, it's the caretakers obviously use this every day throughout the day to record all of the things that they're doing around the housing stock. Support services and homeless risk mobile apps. Now, this is interesting that it integrates. So we do a lot of two-way integration with housing management systems, NEC, formerly Northgate in particular. So it didn't have a mobile capability for what it calls its support modules. So these are daily resident checks. There's a lot more to it than that. But fundamentally, and this is the case where Rapid is often used, that again, we are like augmenting the existing enterprise system to get you a better return on investment and give you mobile working on top of something you already have. The housing supply inventory is quite interesting. Lots of photographs with PDFs, generates legal documents with signatures, and again, integration with the housing management and the EDMS. So you imagine this is I think the picture I'm also trying to paint is Rapid is especially good for like more specialized services, where again, because it's so flexible, it's very quick and easy to build apps that exactly reflect how your services operates, produces the documents they produce, puts them in the EDMS for them, just saves a huge amount of time and money. TA voids is very similar, more sort of property condition questions and photographs and PDF generation and what have you. Tenancy visits has an arrangement calculator on it, which is quite like what they quite like. So now this is hooking into sort of trying to engage with a resident need and catch issues early and you know solve those sorts of problems. Homeless circumstances and needs assessment. This is an interesting one because it's for the statutory return for H-Click. And again, it was found that the housing management system, there are tons of questions in here. And it was identified that it was just way too laborious and too full of mistakes to actually do it on the housing management system, that it was faster and more accurate for officers to do it on a Rapid system and then send that data into the housing management system and onwards to H-Click. So finally, there was the billing system. So this calculates every penny of the tenant rent and leasehold or service charges. So they're able to, it uses like last year's costs and other data from the housing management system and other systems to sort of calculate every resident's bill, the details thereof, like down to the penny. Because again, a lot of this was done in spreadsheets and it was just too reliant on individual members of staff, too clunky, too cumbersome, too risky, no transparency. Yeah, so I've run out of examples now, you'd be pleased to know. And yeah, so thanks so much for listening. There's a ton of more sort of case studies which I'm not super going to dwell on, but I wanted to mention AI scheduling. This is a new thing that we've been working on, which is available on the product as well, as are lightweight digital transformation pieces like sending email and SMS notifications. And again, these are just sort of add-ons to the product. So yes, thank you very much.